Om Vandeham Sri Guru Sri Jutal Padakamalam Sri Gurun Vaishnavam Sri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatham Nitam Tam Sajivam Savadhitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalitam Sri Vishakam Nitam Bande Guru Nisha Bhakta Nisha Nishadatarakam Tat Prakasham Tat Shakti Krishna Chaitanya Sangakam Bande Guru Padadvandam Bhakta Vrinda Samanitam Sri Chaitanya Prabhum Bande Nityananda Sahoditam Sri Nandanandanam Bande Radhika Charanadvayam Sri Nandanandanam Bande Radhika Charanadvayam Gopi Jana Samayuktam Vrindavana Manoharam Guru Rupa Harim Gauram Radha Ruchiruchavritam Gadadharam Nitam Bande Bani Vinadabanditam Manchakalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhupaivacha Titanam Pavabhyo Vaishnavibhyo Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Samasta Guru Varga Jai Yukta, all glories to all their divine graces, all Rupanga Guru Varga, Vaishnava Vrinda. First of all, offering my most respectful obeisances unto the holy lotus feet of all their divine graces, all the Guru Varga, our venerable, noble Guru Varga, and Jagat Guru, Paramhamsa Kula Churamani, Srimad Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Thakur Prabhupada. Humbly praying for His benevolent mercy be bestowed upon me, upon all of you. Hare Krishna. The nature of Krishna Katha is simply limitless. It has so many aspects, innumerable aspects to talk about. If you have any relevant query, I can then speak Krishna Katha around that, around answering that, any relevant query from any devotee. Maharaj is sitting on the chair. No,
it's better here.
I respect your humility, humbleness for now.
Yes, Mataji, she says she would like to hear about Gangamata Goswamini.
The again, the nature of the glories of great Acharya, female Acharya Gangamata Goswamini, also endless, vast glory. See, we find in the ancient Vedic tradition, in other words, the ancient Vedic age, we actually found there are many female leaders, female spiritual leaders. They have been mentioned, Gargi, Maitri, Khana, Arundhati. They are all great female spiritual leaders. So at that moment, in the very first parts of the manifestation of original Vedic social system, we found the great roles, vital roles of the male acharyas as well as female acharyas, both. Female acharyas, male acharyas, equally, with a spirit of equality, with full holistic, harmonious understandings and spirit of equality. Then,
Personne qui traduit?
Oui, c'est ça.
tu traduis?
Non.
Un translator.
Krishna, tu peux traduire directement?
Je peux essayer. Je vais dire un petit groupe.
Oui, un petit groupe.
Qui est-ce qui a besoin de traduction? Toi?
Oui.
Et Lakshmi, c'est ça?
Comme
Ouais.
d'habitude.
Oui. Tu veux te...
So what's happening? Somebody translating or I will continue?
Simultaneously.
Et... Pour couvrir le...
Should I be repeating?
I can read, je peux faire un petit résumé. I can
The-
read.
Si tu t'assois à la place de Ishvari, puis elle bouge, à ce moment-là, c'est ça, puisque c'est que deux à pas comprendre. Ishvari t'assoit à côté, Lakshmi, tu nous assois de l'autre.
Oui, en anglais, là.
Hein? Si, tu parles anglais.
Maintenant, tu parles anglais?
Je peux comprendre quand l'accent indien n'est pas trop fort.
Ah, ok.
So I repeat.
Quel sujet on pourrait parler? On a proposé Gangamata Goswamini. Il a dit que dans les temps anciens, dans les cultures védiques, il y avait des femmes qui étaient considérées comme des Acharyas aussi. Donc voilà, il a parlé surtout de ça.
So,
Il y a la vidéo aussi.
Et ouais.
Voilà. On fait ce qu'on peut.
so I'm reaching in the very beginning. I feel like doing some groundwork before speaking the glories of Gangamata Goswamini, unless and until I make we some idea about the basic ideas about the spiritual leaders, Guru Tattva, whether in female conception or male conception, female form, male form. We want to properly understand. So, therefore, I'm going back, far back in the ancient Vedic time, Vedic, high-class Vedic civilization, pure Vedic culture, okay, which began without any isolated conceptions, any limiting conceptions of the gender, okay, in the spiritual world. Okay. So as there were great male leaders, male spiritual leaders, side by side we also find several female spiritual leaders, and both categories used to be respected in the society equally. They will be sharing equal respect, honor, importance in the society rising above any gender limitations, knowing, okay, presenting the realizations that we are all ultimately our identity, spirit, soul. Okay, we are our real identity is not body or any. It cannot be really identified. We cannot really be identified by our just bodily conceptions, but by higher original, divine, spiritual concepts of ourselves, that we are spirit selves, and since we are all spirit souls, beyond any limitations, bodily or mental limitations. So therefore, see all the great Muni, Rishi, Yogis, and in the ancient Vedic time and also later on, they naturally had these basic realizations that the life of higher spiritual cultivations, the nature of the cultivation of pure devotional life, pure life divine, is always transcending any gender's limit. So, therefore it was so designed, and so we find everything, the cultivation of the spirituality of that time, cultivation of life divine, noble devotional life was presented in such a way that it was open to one and all, regardless of male and female or others. And that is the root, fundamental philosophy and our spiritual principles. The principle, the truth was that, the truth has been that it doesn't matter whether male devotee or female devotee, anyone who is qualified to become a true spiritual leader, divine leader, okay, must be respected as the Guru, as the Acharya, regardless of male form, female form. It was one of the fundamental and essential cultures, spiritual cultures during that time, ancient Vedic time, when the Veda, Vedanta, Upanishads all manifested. I'm talking about that time period. And during that time, okay, it was mostly influenced by the Aryan civilization. So it was not really male-oriented society. We also find Matri-tantric, mother-centered, female-oriented society also. Like the family life used to go around the mother, centering mother, not just only father, but mostly mother also. So it went on for many, many years like that. Then certain change came. Our society mostly became male-oriented in a certain way. But anyway, fundamentally, the original spiritual beginning, in the beginning of our higher spiritual civilization, divine cultures and cultivations, male leader, male spiritual leader, female spiritual leaders are all equally respected, honored. And we find they also have many of their disciples accordingly. So, Jai Bhaje Sei Baro, Abhakta Hincha, Krishna Bhajane Nahi Jati Kuladi Vichar. Quoting from Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, so Krishna Das Kaviraj Goswami Prabhu very nicely, wonderfully explained that the theme, the main principle, the actually real, the original, fundamental, the main principle is this: whoever is engaged in pure bhajanam of the divine couple. I repeat, whoever is engaged in devoted worshippings, narration of the glories of the Supreme Lord, Supreme Absolute Divine Truth, Divine Couple, is considered great. Jai Bhaja Shai Baro. Whoever is engaged in the activities of pure devotional life in relation to the Supreme Divine Lord is to be considered a great personality, exalted spiritual personality, devotee, has to be respected in the high way, appropriately, rising above the limitations of caste, creed, male body, female body, and so, because everything should be considered and judged based on the truth, actual, the spiritual truth, divine truth, not based on some relative temporary identities and social positions and all these. Jai Bhaja Shai Baro. Whoever is engaged in the pure bhajan of divine couple, supreme, absolute divine, Shai Baro, he or she is great. And she must be considered to be very great and glorious. Very exalted. Very exalted, must be treated as exalted personality. Through whom the divine truths are being revealed. The supreme divine, supreme transcendental, the divine truth, personified as divine couple, revealing. All must be qualified, everything must be qualified by the ways, by the characters and qualities of the revelation, of the flow of the grace of the Supreme Divine Truth, the revelation of the dedication must be judged by the power and quality of the pure devotion and to the Supreme Lord and engagement of pure devotional service, and not by any kind of caste, creed, or any type of material identity as male, female, or in between something. Say, Krishna bhajane nahi jati kuladi vichar. In the field of Krishna bhajanam, in the world of Krishna bhajanam, there is never such vichara, means consideration, judgments about who is from what caste and from which creed and what external bodily identity or what culture. No, these are all temporary. These are all temporary relative identities. Since the nature of Radha Krishna consciousness is transcendental to all these, so those who are dealing with, who are actually cultivating, who are dealing with and who are living with the transcendental Radha Krishna consciousness, loving devotional engagement with Radha Krishna and life of loving devotional service, they are also considered and judged in a transcendental way, not by limited material ways, materially relative, mundanely relative, limited social, by social ways, social positions and designations and all these. It is clearly described. So, course, if I go to explain further, it will be longer. So Gangamata Goswamini has been one of the great, glorious female Acharyas in our Sampradaya. When I say in our Sampradaya, means in the Sampradaya of the Supreme Lord. Okay. As Supreme Lord is known to be one without second. The Supreme Absolute Lord, one without second. Similarly, his or the Supreme He or Supreme Hers. Sampradaya also is one without second. Now, the same Sampradaya of the non-dual, absolute, divine truth, called by name, is belovedly called as by Krishna, as in he form, and also called as Srimati Radhika in the she form. So the very nature of this sampradaya of that great divine he, divine she, supreme he, supreme she, none other than the non-dual truth, absolute non-dual. So also that of non-dual character, one sampradaya. The same one sampradaya got manifested in many ways later on. Many ways later on. Sometimes we find from the same mountain, same origin of the mountain, different flows of the river coming. They are named in different ways, but source remains the same. So because when we speak about the supreme non-dual, Advaya Jnana Brajendra Nandana Krishna Tattva, then he is our Srimati Radharani Sampradaya also one without second. Ultimately. The same non-dual Sampradaya of the same non-dual Supreme Absolute Lord, Divine God or Goddess, manifested in different forms of the Sampradaya, like Chatus Sampradaya, Sri Brahma, Goswami, Vaishnava Sampradaya, and some other Sampradayas. It's fine. So, Gangamata Goswamini, of course, very closely, she is coming, closely connected with Gaudiya Vaishnava Sampradaya. In the childhood, her name was Sachi Devi. Sometimes devotees say that name Sachi also remains subtly, finely connected with the mother of Srimad Mahaprabhu, Mother Sachi Devi. She was born in a royal family, you know. Royal family, so she was princess. The royal family of Bengal from her very childhood. She was very much Krishna conscious, very much dedicated to worshipping Madana Gopala Krishna, Lord Krishna in the Madana Gopal form. Gopala means the child Krishna, Madana means Madana Mohana. So Madana Gopala Krishna. The Gopala Krishna who was manifesting very charming, Madana, very charming, very attractively beautiful way. So the Gopala who manifests the most attractive, wonderfully attractive, beautiful form, Kamade form, Madana, called Madana Gopala. You know, the very nature and characteristics of Krishna's beauty is simply infinite, unlimited, with so many aspects, innumerable aspects. So, one of those transcendental aspects of Krishna's beauty found in Madana Gopala, while Krishna was still doing the childhood pastime, performing, having childhood pastimes, and in the form of beautiful Gopala of Nanda Maharaj and Jashoda Devi, we find a very special manifestation, special attractive manifestation of Balo Gopala form of Krishna, child form of Krishna, In that stage, Balla Leela of Krishna, called Madana Gopala. Although Krishna was in the form of the child form, but his beauty was so charming and deeply attractive. It has always been compared with the divine Madana, the divine Kamadeva, the god of love. Cupid, the god of love, ecstatic love. Finally, the supreme Kamadeva is Krishna, none other than Krishna. That's what that's what we feel, we experience, we can realize while we are chanting Kamo Gayatri. There, the Kamadeva is none other than Krishna. Kamo Gayatri. So, the Kamadeva, who is known to be the god of love, the Cupid, is actually none other than the incarnation of the Supreme Kamadeva. The Supreme Kamadeva, all super excellent beauty and charm, all transcendental excellence. That is Krishna. And is god of the general god of love. Cupid, which is called Cupid, Kamadeva, is none other than an incarnation of that supreme original Kamadeva, Sri Krishna, who is known as the supreme Kamadeva, as also Ananga Deva. And we find that we find about that reality while we are engaged in chanting our Kamo Gayatri. So back to the point. So her, Gangamata Goswamini, is the Ishtadeva, Madana Gopala. That's what we find in the description of her biography, Madana Gopala. So here Gopala means not just child form. When Lord Krishna, when that child Krishna also grew up in the adolescence form, Gopala, then also he was called as Gopala. So the name Gopala doesn't necessarily always mean only child form of Krishna. But while in the grown-up state, while he was grown up, so in his grown-up state also, he was very lovingly, most affectionately called by the Brajagopa Gopis, specifically his parents, beloved parents, Nanda Maharaj, Jashoda Devi, as Gopala. Gopala. Go means Gomata, Gavi, all not ordinary Gavis. Krishna's Go means Krishna's cows means Surabhi cows. Okay. Although all the whole cow species is no doubt connected with Krishna, but when we talk about the cows of Krishna, Govinda, Gopala, the great protector and nurturer of all the cows, those cows have to be understood specifically as the Surabhi cows, who have been described through Brahma Samhita. So that verse, Chintamani prakara sadmasu kalpa viksha lakshva viteshu Surabhi ravi palayantam. Surabhi ravi palayantam. Lakshmi Sahasra Satasambhakshi. So, the name Gopala, Govinda, are also meaningfully, very wonderfully and meaningfully connected to Lord Krishna's that specific aspect and character of being a protector of all his beloved cows. Surabhi cows, Kamadhenu cows, no ordinary cows. So, Gopala means, Go means cows, Pala means Rakshaka, Palamkari means great caretaker, nourisher, nurturer. Caretaker, great nurturer of them. Great maintainer, protector, maintainer, caretaker, nurturer of his cows. Palanakari. And Govinda also means go, means all the cows. Surabhi, divine, Surabhi cows of the divine characters. And Govinda, Vinda means Vindeti, greatly satisfying one, giving great pleasure, one who is bringing great pleasure to his own cows, one who is causing so much pleasure and nectarine satisfaction for all his cows as their protector, caretaker, nurturer, called Govinda. There are also other meanings. Go means Indriya. Go means all our senses. Palo means one who is the protector and maintainer, sustainer, nurturer of all our senses and sensibilities. Can be said Gopala, Govinda. So we know the Supreme Lord Krishna, also we know Supreme Lord Krishna is Rishikesha, the master, the Lord of all our Rishikas, all our senses. These are all interconnected. So, if there is no presence of if there is no presence of the potency of the Lord of senses in our senses, all our senses such as eyes, ears, nose, tongue, touching senses, all are invalid. They all become validated by the potency of Lord of all our senses called Rishikesha. So, see, if we lose the power of our senses, we simply lose the capacity of sense experiences, then we'll have identity crisis. Don't even know who I am, where I am staying, what I am relating to. So actually our whole identity also conceived through our perception, through what we see, through how we hear, through how we taste and what we touch, where we are existing, all. And how I am feeling, so our feelings are all our perception, our abilities, our faculties or roles, functions of our conceptions, realizations, experience, all depending on our perceptions, sense experience. If there are no senses, and if the senses become invalid, then we also do not feel, we do not know about our own identity. It's so important. So, why I am explaining that all our senses are actually validated to experience everything, realize everything in our life because of the presence of potency of Lord Rishikesha. Presence of Rishikesha and his power. So, Gopala, Go means Indriya, senses, Palo means Rakshaka, protector, maintainer, sustainer, nurturer. The one who is the nurturer and sustainer, protector of all our senses, sense abilities, can also be said. Gopala or Govinda means one, the supreme one who brings so much satisfaction. Satisfaction of experiencing. Satisfaction of experiences of life. One who brings, the supreme one who brings so much pleasure and satisfaction, the contentment of all our life experience called Govinda, can be also. Anyway, so Madana Gopal was her Ishtadeva, Goswami. So again from her childhood she was a great devotee of Lord Krishna in a spontaneous way. Her parents, Gangamata Goswamini's parents, saw that, marked it to their great happiness, great delight, how their daughter was so devoted, with spontaneous love towards Krishna, and how she used to be absorbed in her loving devotional worships, so much exclusive loving devotional worships to Madana Gopala Krishna, and she would be having a great blissful experience, transcendental experience of transcendental nectarine bliss, ecstatic love of Krishna, Madana Gopala Krishna. And although it's not directly described, narrated through her biography, but it was understood that she was specifically attracted to worship, to engage in lovingly worshipping that Madana Gopal form of Krishna, mostly child Krishna, was so attractive, most wonderfully, irresistibly attractive, such as Madana, Madana character, Kamadeva character. So that attracted her heart so much. Of course, she also engaged in worshipping, engaged in devotionally worshipping, lovingly worshipping that Madana Gopala Krishna in the adolescent form as Kishora Krishna. So while it is stated Madana Gopala means, it doesn't need to be understood in an isolated sense that she was only dedicated to the worshipping of child form of Krishna, but also Kishora form. Krishna, Gopala Krishna manifested in the juvenile state, beautiful juvenile age, also, and engaged in many wonderful, beautiful pastimes, including Madhurya Rasa pastimes, at his juvenile age also. So Krishna also called as Gopala Krishna, at juvenile age too, Madana Gopala Krishna. So when we call Madana Mohana, Madana Gopala, also that definitely means Krishna of the juvenile age. Eternal Krishna. Apragita Jugala. When we say Apragita Jugala of the Braja, Jugala Kishore and Kishori of the Braja. So Madana Gopala Krishna means also Jugala Kishora form also. Gopala Krishna, the origin, is qualified and decorated with all the most charmingly wonderful, transcendentally charming and most wonderful, attractive character of his own ecstatic love. The form of Kishore. And that is Swayam Bhagavan. That Madana Gopala conception of Krishna is also the conception of the Swayam Bhagavan, Bhagavan Tattva. Siddham Vrindavane Aprakrita Novina Madan Kamo Gayatri, Kamo Bije, Jan Upasana. Aprakrita Novina Madan. Aprakrita means transcendent. Novina means manifesting ever new, ever fresh way. Madana means Kamodev, God of love. So Lord Krishna has been glorified, not just glorified. He has been described, his Lord Krishna's that great glory, his transcendental character has been described as the Nobina Modan, the ever fresh, ever the supreme divine God of all attractive love, ecstatic love, blissful love, the supremely charming and attractive, beautiful Lord, who is known as Supreme Madana, Supreme Kamadeva, the source, the creator, the origin, the personification of all powerful, beautiful love characterized by his own blissfulness, his own ecstasy. Aprakrita Nobina Madam. In other words, Krishna has been described as the ever increasingly, ever newly manifesting, most charmingly beautiful, Supreme Kamadev, the God of all ecstatic love, in Braja Leela, called Madana Gopala. And she was the worshipper of that Lord Krishna. Therefore I have to explain so much. If I just simply go, oh, she was the worshipper of the deity Madana Gopala, finish. So much inside there. So much in that world, how she related, which way she related. Gangamata Goswamini related to Lord Krishna in which form, which way, through which conception. It needs to be realized. So, finally, Gangamata Goswamini ji was also a devotee of Madhurya Rasa, although it is not so much described. But finally, she became the devotee. She became devotee of the Madhurya Rasa because she was so attracted to be worshipping Madana Gopala Krishna, none other than the transcendental Kamadeva Krishna, Madana Krishna, whom we worship through our Kamo Gayatri, we meditate through our Kamo Gayatri. That Madana Gopala Krishna, she could not but be absorbed into the fold, into the world of the Madhurya Rasa Leela between the divine couple, the Sakhis and Manjaris in that final. But it remained as a more hidden way. Such aspect of our life, such high aspect of our Madhurya Rasa connection remain more reserved and more reserved, secluded, hidden way. It was not so much described. But through her exclusive, through the nature of her exclusive, pure devotion, pure dedication in the service of Madana Gopala Krishna. Okay, in Bengal and afterwards when she went to Braja, the way she lived her life with all holy austerity, so much holy renunciation, and so much dedication, so much pure devotion to Madana Gopala Krishna. So it was understood that she was exclusively dedicated, devoted to the service of Madana Gopala Krishna, also through Madhurya Rasa mood, in the mood of the Braja. Since from the time she went to the Braja and she was engaged in her pure devotional worships of Madana Gopala Krishna with Srimati Radharani, being totally absorbed in the Braja mood. So at some point she was also absorbed in the Madhurya Rasa mood of the Braja Leela. But it remained more hidden way in our life, more reserved way. Gangamata Goswamini. So Gurudev was Haridasa Pandit. Haridasa Pandit also took so many tastes. There were several tastes in our life. He held several tastes to taste Gangamata Goswamini, how dedicated she was, how sincere, dedicated and qualified she was. At some point, her Gurudev Haridas Pandit was very satisfied very, very satisfied. Under his gracious guidance, at some points he also went to the Braja and became absorbed in Braja Bhajana mood. Braja Bhajana. And at some points he felt inspired to accept the position of Acharya, great Acharya of her time period. She accepted disciples, and also thus she began to be saving many conditioned jiva souls. And as the Gurudev, as a female Acharya, she brought so much good, the high spiritual benefits, divine benefits to their lives and saved their lives. See, we find the nature, the character of her life is the combination of Bhajananundi as well as Goshthanundi character. The Bhajananundi character in the first place, remaining absorbed in the exclusive bhajana mood, exclusive loving devotional worships of the Madana Gopala Krishna, and in relation to Madana Gopala Krishna to Srimati Radharani, in the following in the mood of the Braja, absorbed in the mood of the Braja. Bhajananundi at the same time, at some point, living inspirations, living inspirations, great inspirations, also to be distributing her divine treasures, devotional treasures, among others. She also took the role of Acharya, a great female leader, female guru, and that thus she brought so much benefits, higher spiritual benefits, divine benefits into the life of many, many jiva souls of her time. Gangamata Goswamini, some point she was named as Gangamata. From Shishwachi, her name was changed into Gangamata, and Goswamini title was offered, the honorific title, Goswamini. But she was a very qualified devotee to receive that title, Goswamini. The title Goswamini also means it is equal to glorious Acharya. So the contemporary Vaishnava Acharyas at that time, I repeat, the Vaishnava Acharyas of her time, contemporary Vaishnava society, as well as her disciples, they all failed to be addressing with that high honor, honorific title as Goswamini. So, although she was from royal family princess, but in the service for the cause of Krishna, in the interest of Madana Gopala Krishna, she renounced all her royal comfort, royal opulence, royal enjoyment in her life and became exclusively dedicated with all pure loving devotion to Madana Gopalji. And ultimately, she was absorbed in the bhajana in Braja mood. The title Goswami or Goswamini always was and is considered to be highly honorific. Goswami means one who is the conqueror of senses. Go means senses again. Swami means conqueror, master. One who can become, one who has become the master, the conqueror of all the mundane sense, gratification of mundane sense, mundane, how to say in English, mundane sense attractions, sensual attractions. one who has been the conqueror, master of the mundane, or who acquired the mastery over the mundane, the attraction of mundane sense gratifications, sensualism, called Goswami or Goswamini. Finally, it also means one. You say Goswami, Go means senses, Swami means the Lord of senses, master, one who has acquired mastery over the senses, the controller of senses, or also conqueror of senses, called Goswami, Swami. Meaning that one who has conquered the mundane notions, mundane attractions of all his sensual feelings, but ultimately and thereby by transcending the notion, temperament of interest of mundane sense gratification, who has been able to control and direct all his or her senses towards the service of all Lord of senses, Rishikesha, called Goswami. Finally, controlling all his or her senses and engaging those senses into the service of Rishikesha, the Lord, one who is Lord of all the senses. The Supreme Lord, by whose presence, whose potency all our senses are validated. Lord of senses called Rishikesh, he is Goswami. So, not just, so there is a twofold meanings of the Goswami. The first fold, primary meaning is that one who is the controller and conqueror of all his sensual notions and the attractions of mundane sense gratifications, mundane sense activities, called Goswami. But the second fold, which is more positively understood, with more positive implementations, that after conquering his or her senses, control his or her, control and directed his or her senses in such a way that ultimately engaging all of them, all of the senses into the loving service, into the devotional service of the Lord Rishikesha, one who is the validator, empowerer of all our faculty of sense perceptions. Goswami. Both is a full-fledged meaning of the term Goswami. Goswami is called in a masculine form called Goswami, female form called Goswamini. So Gangamata Devi was so qualified, so highly qualified to become Goswamini. And she was so addressed and honored with that title. All the great Acharyas and Acharyas are actually cannot but have the characters of the Goswamis or Goswaminis. Have to have. So ultimately they are all engaged in pleasing the transcendental senses of Krishna by their own senses. Engaging and pleasing the senses, transcendental senses of the transcendental Lord Krishna, Kamadeva Krishna, by their own senses. Engaging all their senses into his service, called Goswami. Goswami. And Goswami term also finally indicates Rishikesha. Rishikesha. Go means Indriya, Swami means Lord of all Indriya. Also another unbridled meaning. Not just conqueror of senses, but also means the Lord Rishikesha. Go means Indriya, Swami means Master, Lord of all our senses. who is the final lord of all our senses? Rishikesha, it's Krishna. So all the meanings are all interconnected in this way. They all remain interrelated. So, thus Gangamata Goswamini set a great wonderful example at her time. Examples of pure loving devotion to Madana Gopala Krishna. Examples of pure loving dedication in the service of Madana Gopala Krishna. Examples of living a pure bhajananandi life absorbed in the mood of Braja Bhajana. And also setting the examples of propagating, distribution of the Braja Bhajana mood among others, and thereby helping, blessing many jiva souls of our time in this way, and thereby she has always been glorified and worshipped as great female Acharya of her time. Yes, Prabhu, yes, you have a question?
Finish after, if I have a little time for 2-3 questions, I have?
Yes, please.
No? Okay.
Yes.
So you say there is no difference or discrimination according to genders and caste, but still we see in our parampara and actually in any Vaishnava parampara there is no woman.
We find her rare to be found, but there are.
Like Bhaktisiddhanta make this parampara, there is no one woman inside. So actually I was thinking maybe after Krishna's time and the gopi was highest, Uddhava even pray to a case like this. So after
Yadustajam sajanam arja pathan chahitva bhejar mukunda padavi sutevir vimigga. Yes, Uddhavaji say, Asha Mahu Charanare, exactly that.
So after the gopi, after the queen, after like this, all these great, extraordinary, pure devotees, then after that, maybe the female part of the coming down relationship and parampara was a little bit, not existing. And we say there is no one woman name. So in this way it will be hard to prove people we are equal, no gender, no this, but so where are the women named? No name. Okay, this is one question. Then you see about Gopal. Gopal means the protector of the cows and Govinda of the sunset, but we heard also in maybe a more rasic way that Gopal means also the protector or the savior or the sustainer of Gopi. Gopal means also is mentioning
unbridled sense of meanings.
Yeah.
It can also mean that.
Yeah. And Govinda also means giving pleasure to Gopi. Like this.
The term Gopo and Gopi are related to Go. Okay, Go means Gomata, basically. So, Goloka, Gopi, Gopa, all Go is related to many. But according to grammatical way, literal way, okay, so yes, Go means in Sanskrit, Go means Indriya, Go means go. And cows and Go means senses. A literal sense of meanings, but in unbridled sense of meaning, sound echoing the meaning. And following the process of sound echoing the meaning, of course they are related to Gopa and Gopi. Gopala.
For example,
but it has to be like Gopo Pala, Gopi Pala, right? According to grammar. But in a short form, the Gopala means also the nurturer of the Braja Gopis, sustainer and nurturer of Braja Gopis, Gopas, can be, yes. So, answering to the first fold of your question, it's a very good question. See, although going back in the ancient Vedic time, okay, we find some roles of some female leaders, female spiritual leaders, as I named. Okay, Gargi, Maitri, Khana, Arundhati, and also sometimes some Guru Mata, the wives of the great Grihastha Gurus also acted. They are highly respected as Guru Mata and also acted like Acharya besides the male Grihastha Guru. The position of Guru Mata was also very high, being the wife of this Sri Gurudev. So they used to be respected by all his disciples as equal to Gurudev, Guru Mata. You know what I mean. So that culture was there. But again, after certain stage of the Vedic, at certain stage of the Vedic civilization, Vedic culture, society became more and more male-oriented. That's the only cause, mostly. So, the Vedic societies, the culture of the Vedic societies went through different transformations, transitions, passing through different time, place, situations, okay, and it slowly evolved and structurized through different systems. And what happened in course of time, society became more and more male-oriented instead of how it remained more female-oriented in the beginning. At certain stage of the Arya civilization during the Vedic time, the children used to be identified according to mother's name, mother's title, mother's name. We also find such culture at that time. So then slowly and steadily in course of time, it so happened that society became more male-oriented, it was more transformed with male-oriented, with the male character, and so the females started living their life more comfortably, happily at the background, or at some point they got more exploited. They were also under exploitation and torturing. They were also subdued and limited. Both are correct, both ways. But on the aristocratic Vedic society, it was also so happened the female they were more interested and they were more engaged to take care of the family life. Rather, family life, they started staying at the background, maintaining, sustaining, continuing the background family life, whereas the male persons went out and engaged in working, practically working to earn the livelihoods and all. So then, that's all. Males had some more prominent role in the social culture in course of the time. It so happened. So, although on principle, the devotee of the Lord were fully accepted with equal honor, whether regardless of male body, female body, on principle. But in practical fields, because most of the females are busily occupied, they remain at the background. Okay, they remain in the background life, didn't come forward, come in front in the society like the male. So eventually, there were hardly there were any female renounced monks. We find. Okay, so it was very rare to find the renounced female monks compared to the number of the male renounced persons, male renounced monks or the sages, yogis. Okay. But actually there were some. There have always been some renounced female yogis, sages and saints. Okay, but because they lived in the background, so they are not brought to the limelight through the scriptural descriptions and others, because many of the holy scriptures also written by the male Acharyas, male devotees. So because of the nature, their nature of the female spiritual leaders mostly stayed at the background in the family life, taking care. So they are not brought in the front line. They remain more hidden away. Although in the society they had full honor, great honor and respect, no less than the male devotees, male monks or yogis or rishis, munis. Okay. But they are not brought. The high class female devotees, qualified female monks or devotees, or even sannyasis are not brought to the limelight. So that's what happened. And then eventually, so the numbers of all the male devotees, male acharyas all increased in our spiritual lineage compared to the number of the female. That's how it happened. But again, on principle, female acharyas are not considered less than male acharyas, like they are being dominated. What dominates we find all created from the medieval time and coming, but not in the original Vedic time, the ancient Vedic time. And also in our esoteric philosophy, as we follow the esoteric character of our philosophy, our principles, no female acharya is dominated, like they are like having secondary position compared to the male acharyas. Not like that. We don't find such examples. Not really like that. But due to the time, place, situations and some social restrictions of living celibatic life, celibatic renounced life, the females are not brought up, not brought in the limelight, in the prominence, for living the renounced brahmacharya life and renounced life for the brahmacharya and sannyasis who are working as the acharyas, who are playing the roles of the acharyas. So it happened in such a way, it looked like, female are less important, female devotees are more less important, given less position compared to the male acharyas. It looked like that, but it was not the actual case. On principle, on our philosophy, in truth. It was not the actual case. But it was our kind of certain type of, situational conception, grew through situational culture, that because females are living at the background, mostly background, they are not so prominently active in the forefront like the males, everywhere. So because males are prominently more active in the field of job, doing everything, taking care of everything, they are fighting the battle, running the kingdom mostly, so they had the power. So naturally male ego also presented them in more power compared to the female. But again, in the royal dynasty also find sometimes queen also came up, besides the male king. Some of the powerful queens also came up in the royal dynasty, no less than male king. No less glorious and no less powerful compared to the male king. So that also proves again that there are many qualified females also, female leaders, whether in the field of politics, in the field of administration, political dynasty, also spiritual dynasty. But the number of the male and also the greater number of the male as they came forward more and more, actively engaged in taking care of the practical things many ways. So it became male-oriented society. But because it became male-oriented society, that has got nothing to do with our original fundamental spiritual principle, okay, about to regard, equally regard male Acharya and female Acharya. Okay, that is our education. That's our philosophy and principle and our Siddhanta. Whether male or female, both must be equally regarded. Shiksha Guru, Diksha Guru must be equally respected. Both Diksha Guru, Shiksha Guru, both are known to be the expansion of Krishna. They must be equally respected, as explained in Chaitanya Charitamrita. So, pure devotee of the Lord, pure devotee of the Supreme Lord, in other words, divine couple, must be regarded equally whether male or female. Okay, that is our philosophy and our Siddhanta. In no place, in any of the Shaktic holy scripture, it is stated like discrimination is made. Oh, no matter how one is purely devoted, because in the female body must be regarded less than male devotee. No place. There is no such examples. Okay? Rather, even Sikhi Mahiti Bhagini is also promoted. Although it is stated like half. Sikhi Mahiti sister half, and a big controversy went on. I also clarified through my writing. The sister of Sikhi Mahiti, consider half means it's not half because she was a woman. She was described as half in relation to Mahaprabhu because she had some social restrictions to become intimate to Mahaprabhu, to intimately serve Mahaprabhu like the two others. So in that sense she was considered like half loving servitor of Mahaprabhu, but not in the sense of she was half because she was a woman. So it has to be clarified. Okay? Not half, because same Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami glorified her. Like she was a great pure devotee, exalted pure devotee of Radha Krishna, the sister of Sikhi Mahiti Bhagini, already glorified in Chaitanya Charitamrita. She was a pure devotee, a great life of pure dedication, pure devotion to Krishna. She has been glorified. So how a pure devotee can be considered half? Okay? So half means, half was said in a sense, she had half chances, half opportunities to be intimately serving, closely serving Lord Chaitanya, to become beloved servitor, intimate servitor of Lord Chaitanya because of her female body, in that sense half. Not by quality. Not by the quality of her devotion that she was half because she was a woman. It has to be clear. So that she was also glorified as pure devotee by Govinda and Gopala, very nicely glorified. Not undermined, not underestimated in any way. Therefore, 3.5 John, 3.5, I said, it means 4. But half in that sense, okay? Not half in the sense of half because he was a woman devotee. Never. Never. So that would be very misconception. If it is taken half, is taken in that sense. See, Mahaprabhu allowed that Adivasya Ramani to be standing on his shoulder while she was absorbed in having the darshan of Jagannath deity in Puri Jagannath temple. And when Govinda and other associates tried to take her down, Mahaprabhu checked them. Lord Chaitanya prohibited them, don't disturb her. She doesn't have external sense while she is standing up. She became so absorbed in having the darshan of Lord Jagannath, Subhadra Baladev, she became so ecstatic, she became so blissfully absorbed. Okay. Darshan of Jagannath, so much frame of her Lord Jagannath, ecstatic, I don't have. Mahaprabhu was saying out of humility. So let her. Jafecho Koruk Jagannath Darshan. Let her be continuing. Let her continue to have darshan of Lord Jagannath. Even standing on my shoulder, don't disturb her. Same Mahaprabhu was so particular about maintaining the strict standard of renunciation. So what that says, what truth is said by that, spoken by that? No. So Krishna, pure devotees of Krishna is never judged high or low based on male and female body. Pure Mahaprabhu greatly honored that Adi Gosha Ramani. She was from the low caste. A woman from the low caste even. But Mahaprabhu considered her pure devotee. So much so not to disturb her. Absorption of having darshan of Jagannath. The way Mahaprabhu also set the example through Rai Ramananda in relation to Rai Ramananda. You know, the devotee, I forget the name, had some doubt about seeing the activities. Mishra. Pradumna Mishra? Mishra. Yes, I'll remember later. So, when he had some, Mahaprabhu sent him to Rai Ramananda to take education, to receive his guidance, be educated under his guidance. And then, as soon as he saw some kind of uncommon activities of Rai Ramananda in relation to the Braja Devdasi's house. She was preparing the Devadasis, the young beautiful girls meant to please Lord Jagannath through their dramatic plays, Devadas. The way Rai Ramananda was directly dealing with them, the young beautiful girls, by touching them directly, caressing them, preparing them in a very wonderful, beautiful way, preparing them for Krishna's pleasure, Lord Jagannath's pleasure, and he didn't understand. So he saw it externally and he felt very disturbed and came back to Mahaprabhu. Before he explained much to Mahaprabhu, as Antarjami, as the knower of heart, Mahaprabhu already understood. He was having strong doubt about Rai Ramananda, and why he came back, what was his question. With strong doubt, Mahaprabhu already understood and then answered. Akela Rair Hoy Shei Odhika. You must not misunderstand Rai Ramananda. He is exceptional. Rai Ramananda is an exceptionally exalted pure devotee, pure associate of the divine couple. So, it's very rare to be found, but Rai Ramananda has got that exceptional special qualification, to do that, what he was doing, but others cannot have that. So you cannot judge Rai Ramananda based on your experience of the others, comparing him to the adhikar of the qualification of the others, of the common pure devotee. Rai Ramananda is very, very special, exceptional pure devotee. He was doing everything, he was decorating, in order to decorate the young beautiful girls, Devadasis, he was touching their bodies and decorating them, doing it exclusively to prepare them, for the purpose of preparing them to be offered to Krishna, for pleasing Lord Jagannath. The way he was decorating them and preparing them in different ways and educating them how to be acting before Jagannath Dev in a drama for his pleasure, their pleasure, how to please Krishna, how to please Krishna's senses of Lord Jagannath. He was doing it in a selfless way. He himself, as a male body, as a male person, he himself had no interest. Had no personal motive of any personal sense gratification, whilst he was touching the limbs, the bodies of the beautiful young girl Devdasis. But he was, and Rai Ramananda was, he also became she as Vishakha, in the inner mode. So, Rai Ramananda was simply transcendental to the common concept of male-female dealing. Mahaprabhu explained. So don't ever be judging Rai Ramananda and his great qualification, transcendental level qualification, according to the standard of the common pure devotees. Mahaprabhu said. He is exceptionally qualified to do it. He was doing it exclusively for the pleasure of Krishna. His mind, heart, soul, everything absorbed. How to prepare all these young, beautiful damsel like Devodasis, very, very beautiful, and how to present them in the most beautiful, excellent ways for the eyes of Lord Jagannath, for the pleasure of Lord Jagannath. And Rai Ramananda was simply engaged in that devotional service, selfless way, exclusive way. Krishnendriya Pritivancha Dhare Premona. There was no Nijendriya Pritivancha with Rai Ramananda. There was no tinge of any motive of his own sense gratification, but he was doing it with the Krishnendriya Pritivancha, with the full exclusive desire of pleasing Krishna's senses. Ramananda was the epitome example. Now back to the point why I am explaining about this, in which connection I come to explain this. That again Mahaprabhu didn't consider like why Rai Ramananda was spending so much of his valuable time, energy around some young beautiful girls, preparing them to be acting the drama for the pleasure of Lord Jagannath. The drama he wrote, Jagannath Vallabha Natakam, and rehearsal those young beautiful Devdasis to be acting in that drama, Jagannath Vallabha, which was named as Jagannath Vallabha Natakam. So there, again Mahaprabhu also showed through such examples of the service activity, it is clearly shown and established that the young beautiful females are not to be treated like outcasts. They have no place in pleasing the Lord. Personality like Rai Ramananda, great governor outwardly, great royal figure, powerful royal figure. By inner nature, inwardly great exalted pure devotee. This Vishakha Sokhi in the heart. Now, spending so much his invaluable time, energy among some female devotees. Respecting. It's a sign of great respect towards the female devotees that they can also be highly qualified to be pleasing Krishna, pleasing Lord Jagannath. So accommodating, including all the female devotees also equally, besides the male figures. Rai Ramananda was recognizing. And Mahaprabhu was also authorizing Rai Ramananda's activity to relate to the female. Young, beautiful Devdasis relate to the female to make them qualified to offer the pleasure to Lord Jagannath through their activities, actions. So in that way also Mahaprabhu honored the females, isn't it? Accepted. Who? The very strict personality like Mahaprabhu again made some special considerations for the female devotees also, that they could be fully absorbed and fully accommodated. They could be fully accommodated and absorbed within the world of the loving devotional service to divine couple, to Lord Jagannath or Krishna, equal honor besides the male devotees. So, and their coexistence in the world of the loving devotional service during his lifetime. We don't have to go to Brajalila only. Even Mahaprabhu's time, Mahaprabhu recognized, authorized all these very special cases. without any wrong compromise, without any misuse, of course. Without any misuse. So, back to the point. See, same Mahaprabhu who said, Govinda, you saved my life, otherwise I was going and embracing that female without my external sense. You saved my life, I am a sannyasi. Very nice. And same Mahaprabhu, almost apparently opposite example, same Mahaprabhu setting opposite example. Don't remove the Adivosha Ramani standing on his soldier. Don't disturb her. Don't try to disturb her and remove her. Okay, my soldier. Let her have darshan of Lord Jagannath to the best of her satisfaction. She has so much ecstatic love for Lord Jagannath. What I have, she doesn't even know where she is standing. So let her continue. So, apparently Mahaprabhu is taking two opposite examples. Okay, regarding the touch of the female devotees, touching and coming in contact. So then what is the real principle harmonizing both sides? Okay, it is the pure devotion to Krishna, regardless of female body or male body. That is the qualifying principle. Whether we should have association of the female devotees or not, depending on the only pure devotional principles, regardless of female body, male body. Now, of course, Mahaprabhu also honored Shachi Mata, Vishnu Priya Devi, Shachi Mata, Lakshmi Priya, Vishnu Priya, Shachi Mata. And his life is so offered them a great respect and love. Never considered them to be less in any way compared to the male devotees. And in our Sampradaya also, Gangamata Goswamini, then Vasudha, Janmati Mata, Acharyas, highly respected figures. Highly respected figures. So many male sannyasis, male acharyas also greatly respected. They are not only respected by some common devotees, also respected, highly respected by many great acharyas. Like Gangamata Goswamini, Vasudha Mata, Janmati Mata, Nityananda Shakti. We consider the Vishnu Priya Devi, Lakshmi Priya, Vishnu Priya Devi, Shachi Mata, Sita Thakurani, wife of Advaita Acharya, Malini Devi, wife of Sivash Pandit, highly respected by all the great male spiritual leaders also. So, back to the point. Therefore, our real philosophy, our real Siddhanta, the pure devotional conclusion is that whoever is exalted pure devotee must be equally highly respected with full love and honor, regardless of male body or female body. Male gender, female gender. It's clear. Even through other examples or throughout the holy scriptures. Okay, as we go through the descriptions of many holy scriptures, in many places we find the wife of the great Yogi, Muni, Rishis, okay, and also highly respected by the disciples, male disciples, by their male disciples. As we worship Deva, male form of demigods, we also worship female form of the demigoddess, god and goddess, both in the Indian, Vedic Indian culture. Devi Saraswati, the Lakshmi, the Saraswati,
Durga.
Durga Parvati, Ganga Devi, they are all worshipped with high respect and honor. Yamuna, Ganga, Jamuna, exactly. The concepts and their personal identity of all these rivers are female identity, female goddess. They are highly regarded in our culture. So questions should not arise like who is higher than who. There is no real ground for raising such questions based on our real Siddhanta. And what to speak more of the Brajalila character, Braja Gopis, Our divine goddess Srimati Radharani is given the highest position in the life of our highest bhajana. Highest bhajana. So where is gone? He's gone?
One thing.
Yes, he is
Yeah,
gone because of his
because-
grandson.
Oh, he has to go.
Yes.
I just finished answering his first fold of questions. Did not even touch the second fold.
Another point also is that actually when Mahaprabhu came with that mood of Radharani, Krishna wants to experience that. But who came with it? You speak about Rai Ramananda, Swarup Damoda, Rupa Goswami, Sanatana Goswami, Raghunath Goswami, all these Acharyas, they're actually female. So they
By inward identity, they are all Manjaris.
yeah, so if they took that position as male, it's because the society, in that society, is better as a man for preaching and presenting also the spiritual matter.
Exactly. When society became slowly transformed into more male-oriented character, then they were more active in a prominent way because they started getting active more prominently compared to the females because they started staying more in the background. They are also engaged in taking care of very important task, house, family house, family life. Okay, it's no less important than what kind of task males are engaged outside the society. So while the wives were taking care of the householder life, which is the basis for the shelter for the male also in the family life. So because they continue staying in the more background, male came in a more prominent way, and it happened like that. But such social transformation has got nothing to do with real spiritual principle and spiritual truth.
No, it's just a matter of how time, place and circumstances.
Right, that's what I'm saying.
That is, because if you study all the different religions, it came also like that. In the beginning, they were all together, male, female, but after it became patriarchal, you know, male dominating everywhere. If you see all the men monotheist religion, they become male very strong,
Dominating. Right.
dominating.
Suppose if it so happens sometimes through some war, through some big battle and war, most of the males are killed. Only female remain mostly. And some of them had to continue with the spirituality, with the spiritual flow. Then there will be more female acharyas instead of male acharyas. They would come out in more prominence by number. So, because females are outnumbered by the male at present. But if it happens, it goes other way around. Okay, male can be outnumbered by the female. Then they will come in prominence, and they will be equally treated like male acharyas. Could be. So it's a psychological thing, mostly situational and psychological things, rather than any siddhantic importance. Okay, male domination means they are actually more qualified by siddhanta. It's not like that. More qualified compared to female. Never is like that.
Well, male and female have their own nature. If the Lord made these two natures, everyone has his own nature, his own business.
According to science, whether it is son or daughter, both are coming out from the same parents. All the females have got also some part of her father in her, father and mother. All the sons also have the heritage of father and mother. So the concept of male or female cannot be conceived in full without the combination of male and female.
Yeah.
So it is in the law of nature, law of creation. How can we try to conceive one on the top of other. In that way. Okay. Alright, so by nature of creation, Supreme Lord proved it.
Yeah.
You can be son, but you are the combination of your mother and father.
Yes.
You can be daughter, but still are the combination of father and mother both. So, that is the harmony.
In psychology, it is very important.
Yes, truth, that is the truth.
Yeah.
Biological truth.
Yeah.
Also, same truth also reflects on the spiritual plane in a natural way. We don't have to create anything.
No.
We have to make. We do not need to make up anything. We just have to accept the reality as it is.
Recognize.
Natural, recognize and accept the natural reality as it is. Really. Hare Krishna.